Cheers.
Cheers.
Hey everyone. We are having tea time and finally for after so long. It is October 20th, 2021. And at Joyful Raw Life, Taylor Norris is here. We're together. I'm Tina Seuss. And
Yay.
I'm Titi.
I'm Tay Tay.
And this is tea time.
Tea time.
So welcome
Yes.
everyone. Today's theme is urgent self-care. And before we get into it, I'd love to know what you're grateful for, Taylor, and what tea you're drinking.
Glad you asked. Because it's actually not tea.
Okay.
It's cacao.
Yum.
It's some cacao grown here and prayed over and blessed and really loved up quite a lot before I even got it. And then I, of course, have Reiki charged it, completely and in and out and up and down and all the ways. So I'm very, very grateful for this cup of cacao, the ceremonial cacao here. And I'm grateful to create this ceremony with you, Tina, and with everyone who joins us. As I was reflecting yesterday on what these tea times really are, and it's a modern day ceremony across the airwaves, offering, insights and healing and awareness and experience, and hopefully ultimately also, connection and unification and lots and lots of love. So I'm really grateful. It's been a few months since we've had one of these, and I'm so happy to be here again, with you and with everyone joining us.
Me too.
What about you, my love?
I love what you just shared, and I'm feeling really cozy today. Where I'm really grateful for water, and it's been raining here, much needed rain. We've been in a drought, so it's just so nourishing, and like it feels just really cozy and green and fresh. Everything kind of has this fresh feeling to it. So I'm kind of excited for what's gonna grow from it, and just kind of, wet the soil and wet everything around me. It just feels like it's cleansing everything. So really grateful for that. Grateful for the full moon. And I'm drinking Moroccan mint today. So got green going on, green on my body, green inside my body. Yeah.
Lovely. Yeah, it's like a time of endings, but also of new beginnings too.
So today we wanted to talk about what we dubbed urgent self-care. And we just wanted to kind of explore what self-care is, also in context with what's going on in life right now. But before we go into that, I just wanted to share that if anyone's been curious, I've had a few people ask me about what happened with our retreat. And our holistic raw vegan retreat was actually supposed to be happening right now, or like about a week ago. And we just wanted to share a message that we did need to postpone it. And what happened was we actually created it when everything was opening up, and everything, like masks were being lifted and mandates were being lifted, and everybody was kind of just feeling outward
in California.
Yeah, in California,
specifically. Yeah.
which is where we were going to hold this one. And what happened was like I think about a month after or soon afterwards, all of a sudden, the mandates got stricter and it didn't have the same energy. It felt like things were getting constrictive and it didn't have the same energy. It just wasn't the right timing. And so we were kind of feeling into that. And eventually we decided that we were going to need to actually postpone or, stop this one. But the good news is that we have the groundwork done. So we will be offering things in the future. And we're really grateful for everyone who's asked about it, who has inquired, and like, if you haven't already heard from me personally, like, this is kind of our official announcement of what happened, and that we're just grateful for everybody like showing up and sharing the love and being interested. I had a lot of people reach out to me about it, so that was exciting. Yeah. Also, besides things getting kind of more constricted, I, you know, other things in life started happening and shifting, which was completely in alignment with what was going on. I guess astrologically as well. And Taylor, you moved to Hawaii now, back again.
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah, we haven't had an update in tea time for a couple of months, so that's pretty cool. And um, also, I actually got COVID, so and we're gonna talk maybe a little bit about that. But I wanted to give space for you, Taylor, to share anything you feel is relevant and good.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing the unannouncement of the retreat. It is, yeah, it is like a completion point. Full moons are times of completions, and this is, yeah, like an end to tie up. And I think you tied it up really beautifully. I appreciate you sharing that. Yeah, I think I would love to hear you share about your experience with COVID and everything, because that was right following Woodstock Fruit Festival, and we were together road tripping, and that was yeah, it's such a potent time of experience. So I am definitely, here and want to hold space to hear your testimonial of having the illness and also recovering, using your tools.
Sure. Um, yeah, ask me anything that comes up to your mind's eye, but like, basically I went to the Woodstock Fruit Festival, and I guess long story short, I got COVID, but I didn't get symptoms until like a few days after I left, like maybe 3 days. And I ended up actually right when I got symptomatic, I got a test within that 24 hours and it was positive. And it was quite shocking for me because I haven't gotten sick using the tools that we talk about on our social media platforms. Like, I hadn't gotten sick in over a decade. So it was quite bizarre for me. Like, it was a strange experience. But I mean, of course, it's like I just trust that my body's healing. And so when it happened, I just knew I needed to give it the space and time to heal. So I kind of went into a rest mode, and I decided to do a modified water fast. I heard that vitamin C and getting sunshine really helps too. So I added some orange juice into the water I was taking and some herbal teas, and just took in some sunshine every day. And I basically had that modified water fast for about 10 days, and then it was negative after. And the symptoms really started decreasing on day 7, but that's actually when I lost my taste and smell. And on day 10, I got a negative COVID test. I quarantined for 10 days because that's what they told me to do, and I didn't want to spread it. And I did cover all my bases, so I did share the information with everyone I hung out with, like everyone. And yeah, so I guess long story short, to wrap it all up, I haven't had my taste for over a month. So I am going to be, I did that fast. I kind of refed. I just, you know, was back to quote unquote normal, but wasn't physically exerting myself yet. And then actually I went into overdrive and I started tree cutting and demoing, and I did all this physical labor for 5 days, and my body came out. Usually, like, I have a red flag system. If I get a kink or sore, I know my immune system is way down, so I need to shut it down. And I did get a kink or sore, and I got just really fatigued. And I just think there's something, even though I don't have a lot of mucus or anything like that, and I'm negative, I don't have all the other symptoms. I just feel like I need to help that whole process out. So I will be going into a juice cleanse to lighten up the load and let my body heal out any residual stuff that's coming out. And yeah, it was a big experience to have COVID, because I was sweating for 5 days in a row. I mean, that was really bizarre. Usually you just get a fever and it breaks in a overnight, and then you're fine the next day. It was really different, and I felt like it was really strong, and it was quite contagious because lots of people got it actually at the festival. And I will preserve anonymity. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
say anybody's
Yeah.
names or anything, but it did. A lot of people got it, and you know, everybody had it differently too. So interesting, all the way to not having any symptoms except like losing their taste and smell, to full blown being, you know, having fever like I did. I had no trouble breathing, which was so awesome. And actually, when I went to go get my oxygen count after water fasting, it was like 99 out of 100. Like, that's just laying down, doing nothing for 10 days. So that was awesome. He was really surprised. And yeah, so I if you have any more questions, but that's basically what happened for me. And
Yeah, thank you for sharing. I remember talking to you and like, yeah, being worried, and you saying like how low your energy was. Like, it was just so energetically very, very depleting in a very intense, kind of unfamiliar way. And then also notable in your testimonial is, you know, how it seems to like heal and then like linger, like kind of like give you this false sense of like, oh, it's fine, but really, you know, it's sounding like additional care is being needed to really, you know, release it from your system. And like, thankfully, you know, you are someone who is very aware of how to take care of yourself and holistic healing, and having these powerhouse tools like water fasting, like juice fasting, like knowing I really just need to rest, and like the power of rest too, you know,
yeah,
not underestimating that. So yeah, I definitely appreciate you being so vulnerable and open and transparent about your experience, and not hiding. And also, yeah, it's just, I think, powerful to hear that these same tools that prevent illness are solutions, when we are faced with health challenges, with serious health challenges, like those we're faced with today, you know, of you know, who knows what origin, and yeah,
yeah.
all kinds of energetic residues and consequences, and yeah, just
Yeah,
what.
it was really crazy. It really sapped my energy. And I was also water fasting, so I know that also can lower the energy.
Of course.
Um, but what was really shocking to me was my energy was so low that I didn't even have creative energy. Like, you know, you think, oh, you're in bed, why not create an ebook, or why not create create something, you know, because you're physically like, you know, done for. At
Yeah,
least I was in this
yeah.
when my body was getting it out. And I didn't even have energy for that. So, you know, how to use coping tools to allow myself to be just laying there. And it was really it was interesting. I just decided, okay, I'm gonna surrender to this and explore it. But what you were sharing about, there was something about it that really lit kind of the whole COVID topic is so heated, and having it and feeling like shame around it. There's people in the media who are trying to share the idea that this is something you should be ashamed of, that you're the culprit of other people's sickness or even death. I mean, it's really, there's so much stigma going on right now, and there's so much misinformation that's being spread. And I don't want to get so controversial and in your face, but this really did leave a big imprint on me, and I could have just stopped and healed and let it all happen and be alone and not share about it. But my whole page is actually about immunity and cultivating immunity. And it looks like Taylor popped off, but we're gonna wait for her to join back again. I think maybe her connection is a little bit compromised or something. But what I wanted to share about the whole immunity thing is that I felt like I had to share about this because my page is about it. And I decided, okay, I'm just, not going to post a lot, but that I am going to share the fact that I have it. I know that there's a lot of people who possibly might feel shame, or like that it's something they want to hide because their whole platform is about health and they can't show themselves not being healthy. And I think I just wanted to share that instead of having a perfect mindset about it, it's like our health will fluctuate, and there's like a whole gradation, and it's like, how do we handle it? How do we handle that whole spectrum of being, the spectrum, the gradation areas? Like, get curious about it, and what are the tools that actually help. And this is how I view health in general. It's like you have consistent self-awareness is a huge pillar for me in what I share about, and what has helped me create a strong immune system. And self-awareness comes with checking in, and it just takes, step by step. It could be day by day or moment to moment. It could be week by week, but really checking in and adjusting and doing what you need to do to be able to kind of course correct, like as if you're a ship going towards its final destination. Looks like Taylor's popped back on. I don't know, did you hear what I just shared at all? Or
Yeah, I
okay,
did. I
cool.
did get to. It was beautiful. It was
Okay, cool.
beautiful and very valuable. And like, yeah, you're just super courageous and like real,
Thanks.
real in the time of illusions falling. Let's just say that. So I appreciate yeah, your realness, your authenticity, and yeah, sharing about this experience and not pretending like it didn't happen or something. Yeah, I
And
think there's more
and
value
I just want to share.
available
I just want to
in
share
being
that
truthful.
people who share about this can get attacked. I actually
Yeah.
got attacked. I had someone accuse me of being a murderer, literally, because I got COVID. So I just wanted to share that it's a risk sharing about this because of the information being spread, that it's like it's people who are choosing unvaccination or not wanting sovereignty over their body. They were being blamed because you're passing it or keeping the virus alive, and it's just such a it was really hard hearing that from someone, but we worked it out, and actually their opinion changed, and I shared a lot of information and shared what I felt. And I don't want this to be like whether you're vaccinated or not vaccinated, that I don't want to create this dichotomy or feed it. But I do want to share that information is powerful, and it can shape what how people are reacting, and it's part of the whole self-care thing is just like gauging that, trusting your intuition when to share, how to share. But you also shared with me that the whole hashtag of natural immunity is being suppressed. It is being censored. You cannot find it. You cannot find it on Instagram. It's and I heard that and I looked it up, and you can only find it in a different font, or with the FU symbol, or with the peace symbol with the prayer hands. And yeah, natural immunity is being censored. And my whole platform is about natural immunity. It's about cultivating your natural immune system to fight off, make it so strong so that whatever comes your way, your body can fight it, you know? And I'm not saying never use, you know, Western medicine, or never, you know, never do this or that. Like, I feel like everything serves in its right moment and divine timing. But in general, always, I feel like it's important to go light, and then to more, you know, more extreme methods. Like, do the least, what would you say, kind of invasive method first, and try that, and then keep, you know, doing consistently what works. And usually you won't have to do it. So I just want to share it's possible to heal from COVID. You don't have to take ivermectin. You don't even have to take a medicine. Possibly you do. That's an option. That's a total viable option. But like, there's also natural methods like fasting, and there's like, you're letting your body heal, and depending on your state, you'll know what to do. Like, you know, you'll know what to do, whether you need to go a more medical route, or if you want to go take herbs or medicines, or if you want to just trust your body. And it all depends where you're at, you know, what your body is able to I guess hold space for. And yeah. I just really wanted to share that, because a lot of people are thinking it's only this one, the herbs and the medicine, or the Western medicine. And it's also like, what about natural hygiene? What about fasting? What about letting your body heal? So,
and combining modalities too,
yeah,
you know, where it's necessary. That's why I think it is powerful to hear testimonials of people trying different things. Oh, this worked in this way, but then, you know, there's still some lingering issues. Okay, maybe this other thing might be another tool to incorporate. This definitely didn't work. You know, this is like the richness of experience that I think we're losing maybe out on a bit with all these censorship and these sorts of things, where information is being manipulated and kept from us. And like Tina was sharing about the natural immunity hashtag, because, you know, I was following Tina and see she's doing this wonderful immunity summit, and I'm like, well, she's probably gonna be using this hashtag. I should probably tell her not to do it if she actually wants anyone to see her post. But yeah, I mean, this is a real thing. That's why, you know, having this information is power.
it is.
Knowledge is power. And, you know, not only that knowledge you can find external to yourself, you know, knowledge you can receive from other people, right? Directly. Knowledge, you know, the information you can learn in other places, but also the information and knowledge that comes from personal experience and experimentation and following your guidance, your internal authority, your inner guidance, these kinds of things, messages you might be receiving, or just thinking, you know, it might be a good idea to try this, or to try that. But it's so powerful. You know, there's you know, it's kind of, war has changed form these days. You know, there is the guns and fighting types of wars, and very violent wars happening, but there's also you know, a war type energy around information as well. And that's why you know, this is a very important conversation to be having, I feel very strongly, and at this time in
Yeah.
particular.
Yeah, I felt a little bit silent after I found that out, and did a little bit more digging in, or kind of exploring research and knowledge and information. And I got a little bit disheartened, and I kind of pulled back with my sharing on my platform for a bit, because I felt like I needed to reassess what's going on. And I've been quite, to be honest, silent about what I really think and feel. And I know I was talking with you, Taylor, like about the full moon and the energy it's embodying. And
Yes.
the focus of this tea time isn't just COVID in general, but it's like something that's happening, and we need to talk about it. And I'm not sure how vocal I'm gonna get on it yet. I'm still waging my relationship with speaking on what I see and feel about it. But I'm kind of like the person who likes to hang back and see what's happening in a bigger picture. And then I like to kind of synthesize it into my thing, and then live the experience. And then I kind of like, I think, talking about it. But sometimes self-care is, holding back and kind of listening and absorbing. And then sometimes self-care is actually speaking out. It's not, if with the Bhagavad Gita, he's called to fight, and it's as an act of love and an act of surrender and devotion. And so love has many forms, and it's not just one form. It's not just being silent or this or that. It's also, or kind, whatever kind looks like, or nice, the nice girl, the
Yes.
nice smiling,
That can be
passive.
fake.
Yeah. So like in this moment, I'm feeling actually angry, and I want to, self-care to me looks like expressing that I feel that. I don't have to like act out or react to it, but I felt very angry about that, because, to be honest, like when I started this journey, when I first was diagnosed with HPV, it was really hard to come upon this information. There wasn't like the social media stuff that's happening now. Information wasn't as available. Especially when I went to the doctor, it wasn't, he kind of just told me the things I was already doing, like exercise, eat right, and be healthy, and like have probiotic yogurt or something. So, plant-based, of course. And so, yeah, it's like it took a lot of talking and digging and being vulnerable to find other sources of quote unquote alternative information, which may not be considered as alternative anymore, because sharing is so much easier now. But I think that it was already hard in the beginning, and now it's overtly being censored. Like, so if you didn't think there was an agenda against it, there is an agenda against it now, and I
Against
invite you.
natural immunity and like true holistic health, natural hygiene, these types of things, having the power to change your health. That's what you mean? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Learning the laws of nature in yourself, in your body, who you truly are, you as a holistic being, and also just how your biology works, how, like how your physical biology works. So I totally want to take this opportunity. If you have, I feel like our audience probably is already awake or aware to some of these things, but if you're not, definitely research natural hygiene. Look into things about the medical education system and the Rockefellers. Right? Look into who is behind sharing information and why, and follow the money, follow the intentions. And if your intention is love, if your intention is health, if your intention is harmony in your body and your being, research, learn about your body and follow your intuition, because the information is there, and you just need to have that intention, and it will be life changing. It's life changing. You don't have to live in fear, as Yeah,
No. No,
we don't.
that's like, that is the key. That is like the absolute key. And like knowledge and taking your power back, like that it doesn't remove the fear. It's not about getting rid of the fear. It's about being with the fear and noticing it and loving it and still choosing to be in my power, to be in my power. What can I do in this moment? What could I do in this moment? How am I feeling? What do I really need? And to give myself what I really need, even if it's, making me step out of my comfort zone, especially if it is. And there's, fear around that too. So
Totally. Yeah.
yeah, this is definitely, I love Tina's call to act. The CTA of this is not to do anything, for us or pay money or buy our stuff, and though you can do that. But it's to, research and find out the information for yourself if you're feeling called to, if you are feeling really confused. Is to look into this to yourself and question, where is this information coming from? What is the motivation behind it? Who does have something to gain with me believing that? Because there is a lot of that happening now. A lot of that happening where there are, yeah, dominant stories being told to keep us in a perpetual state of fear and disempowerment, when that is a lie. That's not our true nature. Our true nature as human beings, I believe we are extremely powerful, and we are presented, each of us, every day, every moment, with choices where we get to choose to live in love, choose to create health, choose to create happiness, choose to be authentic, choose to be present to our experience and the experiences of others, and to be, yeah, supportive too, like during this time of, um if someone's not sharing the same perspective as me, I'm doing my best to be compassionate, to be non-judgmental, to understand that that's where they're coming from, and how can I love them even though they believe that? How can I love them even though they did that to themselves? That they're choosing to be afraid and to just act out of fear. How can I love? And at the same time, do I need to limit how much I'm around them? Do
Yeah.
I need to be very, very mindful of my energy? Because I don't want to be walking away from an interaction, all depleted. I'm so sensitive, y'all. Like, it can put me out. It can put me where I'm really needing to give myself a lot of self-care if I'm not monitoring my boundaries around that. But I'm not here to say, believe this way is the right way and shut everyone out who disagrees with me. It's the opposite. It's like, how can I like challenge myself to still be in my power, still be in my truth, still be feeling and showing and sharing love, you know, both, in honoring my energy and honoring my needs and staying in my authenticity and my truth and my power. This is the question. This is the challenge. It's hard. It's not, I'm not here saying, oh, y'all, it's a piece of cake. You just need to burn some sage, drink some cacao. You're good. This is hard. This is hard stuff. This is work. But, it's work that produces, a lot of positive change, a lot of growth, and it empowers other people ultimately, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And ultimately, it may be quote unquote hard at first because you're
Yeah.
changing a pattern or to
Yes.
choose love, to say the things that serve it. But at the same time, at the end of the moment or during the exchange or after, it's going to
Mm-hmm.
create a lot of ease. It creates a
Ease.
lot more ease of being
Yes.
inside and peace inside. Yeah.
I agree. I had a big whammy of that actually the other day. Yeah, like
What
feeling
happened?
empowered, expressing from that feeling of empowerment and courage and everything. And yeah, it feeling a little uncomfortable and it having some consequences I wasn't necessarily happy about, but But underneath that, when I really like sat and explored and let that be, there was a lot more, a lot greater peace, you know. And even just like, yeah, I was in my power, I was authentic, I shared my truth. There were consequences that were, you know, unfavorable, but you know, I felt more at peace with myself, you know, than I did before. Trying to be good girl, nice girl, shh, you know, let's keep it like, you know, very palatable, or more palatable. And it's like, this is not the time to do that. I'm sorry. It's, you know, that's not authentic for me. This is the time I'm like, how can I help now? Because we need help now. We need a lot of help. We need a lot of help to, you know, get things shifted over and usher in, you know, a world of humans where we know how to be healthy, and let's not, and yeah, have leadership that is supporting that, you know, systems that are supporting that. I mean, what a thought. What a thought. Crazy. It's happening.
Going
Yeah.
along with like helping yourself in the whole theme of what we're talking about today with self-care,
Mm-hmm.
I you know, I feel like there's also talk and also tying in information, like what's information, what's serving. I feel like a lot of people, or in general, there could be a concept of self-care being this formula of like, I'm gonna take a bath with candles and like I'm, you know, it's like this formula. Like I've gone to 12-step programs before, and it's like plug in that formula, like that is self-care. And it can be self-care, but if you do that and you leave feeling unsatiated or uncared for, like because it's not what yourself was truly calling for, I think that it's important to be able to have that. I guess what I want to share is that I feel like self-care really needs a lot of presence and attunement to what actually is serving your care and what the self is that you're serving. So like, you know, those are two things we have to identify, I think, in order to actually create a nourishing and kind of caring, satiating experience for health and holistic health. And a lot of people might, or you know, we have patterns. Our mind wants to latch onto an idea, and this is always good, and this is always bad, and then we'll get into a routine and pattern of that thing. And talking about like what you were sharing now, like tapping in, what's actually serving? Is it to speak out or not? Or like, right, what is actually the caring action, the loving action or non-action that is being called for to really to work, you know, to actually work in the situation. Like, you know, we have the concept of what we think would be self-care, but
Right.
then, and sometimes the bath and the bubbles and the candles are exactly what you need, but sometimes it's not. And
Yeah.
so I wanted to explore that with you. Like,
Yeah.
what's your definition of self-care in general? Like, how would you break that down?
Well, self-care to me, it's holistic self. It's not self just body. Okay, I eat raw vegan. I work out. Done. That's body. You know, I'm good. No, 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 no. It's mind. Self-care, tending to my mental scape, tending to my emotions, tending to my heart. It's nourishing my body well, nourishing my mind with learning new things, having new experiences, following my intuition to keep enriching my mind. I'm a learning junkie. It's nourishing my heart and really understanding I need connection. I need connection. I need connection to my soul. You know, I need connection, a spiritual connection that is actively being cultivated daily, multiple times a day, every moment of the day. And I need connection with other human beings. So it's soul care. You know, I was reading our notes. I was like, oh, this is soul care too. It's like personality care. It's ego care. You know, what does my body need? What does my mind need? What's going on emotionally? But it's this soul care. Okay, I need to get to know my soul because like I'm not just a body, or else, you know, I would have stopped after going vegan and running marathons and or half marathons. I didn't run a marathon. I didn't make it to that because my body, it was not loving to my body. It was not loving to my body, even to run the half marathons. So self-care, yeah, it's really it's been this journey of like, who is Taylor?
Hmm.
Who am I?
Yeah.
Who am I? And like really going there and still really going there, right? This is an ongoing process. This is not one and done. Continuously asking and exploring that question and like, what do I need on all the levels and planes and manifestations of existence, you know, very practical and also like very ethereal, and doing my best to like navigate and negotiate and tend, do the tending, understand, oh, this is an area, okay, this is my weak area, I don't even want to go there, this is usually where I don't go, I need to go there, and I need to go there in like an all in kind of a way, while also like doing all the other stuff I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So this is self-care. And yo, if that sounds like a big process, it's right on. It's like it's the
It is.
the self-care. Yo, I remember being in grad school and being like, man, I gotta like schedule in my self-care for like, you know, an hour here, hour there. I want a lifestyle where I'm like doing the self-care all day, every day. Like it's full time. And that's kind of what is my life has kind of shifted into, that is that kind of mentality where the self-care, the soul care has become a lifestyle for me, and like a full-time gig, and helping other people transform and understand that that's like actually, you know, a big part of what we're needing to do right now. And if we each just did that, that's why it's like this huge topic has such massive repercussions. If we each did that, imagine the world we'd be living in, you know? That's the
Yeah,
new
it takes
earth.
a lot
That's
of like that whole presence and then acting on it and
mm-hmm.
really getting to know your like I'm hearing you say exploring yourself and like really who am I? Like what am
Mm-hmm.
I? Who am I? Like what are the levels to me?
Yeah.
It's a very dynamic thing and it's also constantly shifting and changing, you know. So just it's sounds like it's your passion and hobby. Yes.
Hobby, lifetime lifestyle offering. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And yeah, it's dynamic. It's dynamic as we change, like those needs, and they're all, yeah, yeah. And right now, being a sensitive person, it's like that's why the urgent, you know? But I want to hear what you think about self-care before I go on tangent number,
Okay.
you know, 1000.
Sure.
Tell
Yeah.
us, Tina.
Well, I'm like right along with you in the sense of like, okay, if we're talking about something called self-care, you know, what is self and what is care? And
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree with you. The self, like, what is the self? It's a consistent exploration, it's holistic, mind, body, heart, and soul. Um, oh, thank you. That's Khladini. Um, yeah, so I feel like it's definitely this whole exploration of who and what I am. And then at the same time, it's a verb, it's a doing, it's a,
Mm-hmm.
you get the info and the presence and the intake with the awareness. It takes self-awareness to do that. That we consistently are cultivating and expanding on or contracting, depending on if you're actively, cultivating that. And then the care is an action. So act on the information you've been given, and it's I think it's different for everybody because like for me, I like writing and it helps me slow my thoughts down and hear myself. Whereas like some people can just do it really naturally, like fast, or like some people are auditory, like they, you know, everybody has different ways that they speak to themselves and what works for them. But more and more what I'm really noticing in, because I've been holding these sessions, like I told you about, I've been doing this mentorship program, is that it needs to be all on board, and all of the
Yes.
parts need to be together, almost like it's the team me. And
Yes.
I feel like self-care happens when the higher self and your spiritual connection with something greater than you is in the driver's seat. Because I feel like the self-care does not happen even if you have all those elements, but you have your inner wounded child driving the vehicle that all these elements of yourself are in. And I mean, this stuff might be like obvious to people, but it's like, it just kind
No,
of sinks
it's
in
not.
deeper and deeper over the years, you know? Oh, Amy says so true. I love that. Yeah, it's like I imagine a car and like all these elements of me are in there, like my wounded child, like this, or
Yeah.
you know, we have traumas from our past, and I'm really exploring this a lot with the sessions, and it's just like seeing it in other people is mirroring it also back to me, and I'm doing my own work with it, and I'm seeing that really presencing our higher self and our intuition and our spiritual connection is like so important, because that's where the nurturing and the care comes from. Like I could hear my inner child, and it's like, I want candy, I want this or that, but like,
Right.
you know, doing what's right in an integrated way where it feels like everybody's on board, like everybody of yourself
Yes.
is on board,
Yes.
feels completely different, like somatically, like emotionally, spiritually, and just physically, you know, I mean, mentally, sorry, the thoughts even shift, the type of thoughts shift, because, you know, when you're speaking about something greater than you that's connective and oneness and in love and in truth and in, you know, all of those beautiful qualities, when that's on board, it's telling you a different message.
Yes.
And when it's in the driver's
Yes.
wheel too. So it's like,
Yes.
I'm just realizing how important having everybody together with that element in the driver's wheel is so crucial. It's amazing how a person can shift, how I can shift, or for my own experiences. Like even today, I was doing it for myself, and you know, we have these events that happen in our life where we leave ourselves, and we create ideas that are contractive and limiting, and you know, going to them and just really really listening to them, really um, not just listening to the wounded stuff, but also like finding out what's behind maybe the anger, even behind all those emotions. Like, what do you actually really need? And there's layers to how that's expressed. Um, and so I was really uncovering something like that for me today, and it felt like, I guess the nugget of this sharing is, in this example, is that the importance of not like shoulding on yourself, like I should be having this kind of experience, or I should feel guilty that I'm feeling this way, but really the curiosity element is important. The curiosity and the loving exploration of what's really vulnerable for you, like without blaming others or creating walls towards other people or genders or races or sexes, like, or types of people or things. It's like, what's my part in it? What idea do I create that can open me to love? And I feel like that that's what I'm exploring with self-care right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. What idea can I create that will open me to love? That's what you said. I'm writing it down. Because that's like, replacing the one that's blocking the love. You know, that's really, what idea can I create?
And just keeping the loving curiosity element of it, instead of like having the shoulds, you know, the loving curiosity. It's like I've been around a few people lately where I was doing some exploration session work, and a lot of people say, well, I don't know what I feel, or I don't feel anything. I feel disassociated. But
Yes.
actually that's the feeling. That's the feeling to explore. Like I feel like the whatever's coming up is always the key. And when we judge it or when we shame it, it's like we don't even get to the self-care, because it's like there's these things blocking us from hearing and listening the information it actually does have.
Mm.
Yeah. Like, so if someone's not feeling, if they're feeling numb or they're feeling like, that's actually the feeling. The numbness is the
Right,
feeling.
right,
The
right.
not feeling is the feeling to explore.
Yeah.
And what's behind that, and why, and what are you afraid of, and what's
Yes, the
going on
fear
there.
being like, because what I'm seeing when you say that is like you have a person that has like these blocks, these walls of density up that aren't letting love in, and then inside is like this void space where there's the no feeling, and that's where like, okay, the blocks are only up against love, so you're protected from love, but guess what gets in, no problem, is yeah, that fear. And it's contained, it's like a balustrade keeping that fear in and only increasing it. This is,
And contracting and like
yeah,
removing and actually
yeah.
separating from their true self, because
Mm-hmm.
our
Yes.
I mean, our essence is love, our essence is consciousness,
Right.
and that expansive beauty, and so it's like when we're saying no to something, like in a contractive way, or like a pattern, limiting belief way, we're
Mm-hmm.
actually saying no to ourselves. Like we're saying no to all of us, and then we divide from our spiritual connection, we divide from ourself, and like all of our spectrum of being, and like
Yeah.
we just shut off, and then we break off these parts of ourselves, like,
Yes.
and they get left behind, and then they take over the driver's wheel. It's
Yes.
and then the self-care can't happen because we're letting that wounded nature um drive our decisions, drive our choices. um yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
There's
know, does that bring up anything for you, or
it's
have
real, it's disempowerment. It's like that is the disempowerment, is to not be connected, not have, yeah, the spiritual connection, however that looks authentic to you, not having that in the driver's seat, and then yeah, having one of these other elements of self, or like, you know, seemingly like not self, not love, driving the vehicle, and it's like, what's gonna happen then, yeah, of course there's no self-care happening, there's no awareness of self-care, there's no, that it, yeah, it can't, it cannot happen on the, at the level where it is needed, yeah, and in all the different ways it is needed. So actually, yeah, cultivating that individual spiritual connection, that sense to something greater than yourself, higher than yourself, is key. I know it's been key to me personally, for sure, because really focusing on body-centric healing is beautiful and wonderful, and there's a lot of gains that can happen from that. But until that shift was really made and cultivated and tended to, um, I know I can say for myself personally, I wasn't feeling like a whole human being.
yeah,
I wasn't feeling whole, wasn't feeling complete, wasn't feeling peace, wasn't feeling expressed, and finally, by putting that spiritual connection in the driver's seat, then it's like, oh, I can keep reclaiming all these parts of myself like I fractured off and said I can't go there. I can't allow this, or someone told me that, I believed it, that belief created this, this fracture. And I was like, oh, well, if they think, it doesn't belong in myself, then clearly it doesn't. But in reality, it does. And there's a lot of love and joy and creativity and inspiration available, in that reclaiming process. It's like, that's everything. The FOMO, that's the FOMO. Like, that's what, this missing out on, you're missing
Yeah.
out on aspects of yourself that are like awesome. And to do a little work, a little digging, it's like, it's totally worth getting those parts back, those aspects back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was going, I don't know right now. I just keep hearing the word urgent, and I know you wanted to share
Urgent.
something about that aspect.
Yeah.
And so let's break it down, Taylor. Tay Tay, tell me what's on your mind about the
Why
urgent.
now? Why now? Okay. You all ready? I'm gonna light some fire. I'm gonna light some
All
fire.
right.
We
Yeah,
got the
do it.
fire. Just it is time, y'all. Like, this is if you're not taking care of some part of yourself or your life, like, this is the time. Like, please do it. Do it for you, do it for the rest of humanity, do it for your dog, do it for your cat, do it for that friend or family member you love or and care about, your child, your grandchild, so that they can have a better life. Be tending to yourself, because this is not a time to feel like that is selfish and that's a bad thing to do. And, like, no. Because if you do it, you will be able to help other people more. You will be able to help your dog or your cat or your child or grandchild or, partner, loved one, friend you care about more. That is, self-care is just fundamental empowerment. You could feel that in, just making a nice meal for yourself. It makes you feel good. It makes you like, I make a pretty dish for myself. I feel good. I feel my love for myself. And that like energizes the love then I can be putting out in the world. And what I'm experiencing in my Reiki work is that this is very much a spiritual warfare, that's going on, a warfare of the soul, a warfare of, you know, disempowering people from taking care of themselves, essentially, and understanding that that's something they can do, and that's something they're responsible for, actually, and that's the empowering. I say the word responsibility, and that can sound like, oh shoot, like, I don't want to go, I don't have time for another responsibility. But, like, it's in taking that responsibility that the empowerment happens. Oh, I'm responsible for my health, so I'm gonna do things that make me healthy. And, like, that creates so much empowerment, so much power within the self, and it cultivates this self-love. So, no matter what you think about what's going on, in my experience, has been very, very clear. This is absolutely a time to take back your power in all the small ways and in the big ways, and understanding that it's not time to mess around with that, or, like, take that lightly. Yes, take it lightly in the sense of, please still be smiling and laughing and loving and giving hugs, if not to another human person, then to your dogs and cats and trees and leaves and crystals. But to not don't neglect yourself. Don't abandon yourself. Hello, everybody who's joining, y'all.
Yeah,
Welcome.
everyone's saying hi. Hello,
Yeah.
everyone. And we're so stoked to see
Welcome.
you.
Yes, thank
You're
you. Yes,
amazing.
hugs, virtual hugs. Please be giving virtual hugs, but also, hug someone in your reality, hug something in your
I'm gonna take
reality.
Richard's hugs.
Yes. Yes. But this is not, and these next 6 months, like, I've been looking at astrology and intuiting what's happening. Like, it's chaotic out there, but you can still be peaceful inside. But it takes some work, it takes some care, it takes some consideration. And what I found with the self-care is, the more I do it, the more I love it. I was reading Richard's comment, lively souls. Hugs
Yay.
to you both, lively souls. Y'all are awesome. If y'all want to share too, what does self-care mean to you? You know, and what are you doing to take care of yourself right now?
And
Is
also
there
any comments about the topics we're talking about. I'm really intrigued by the spiritual warfare you just mentioned. I talk about that a lot with some of the groups I'm part of. Um, not that, not because I want to create dichotomy or like, feed violence or that concept, but at the, at the same time, when I hear that concept, what's coming up for me is like it's getting real, and like with the full moon energy we were talking
yeah.
about, it's like the unseen or like the things you've avoided, or like the Aries energy is asking you to confront and almost like make a choice now, and take a stand for what you believe in, take a stand for what take a stand for yourself too,
Yes.
take a stand for your spiritual practice, take a stand for where you put your attention and what you feed with your money, with your thoughts, with your emotions, and with your spirit. Those are huge things, and they can create a lot of ease and peace inside of ourselves. I personally have experienced that when I went vegan. I felt so happy because I was living in alignment with my true belief system. When I experimented for the first time and went raw, like just feeling the contrast of higher energy, and just, or even just choosing to do something that's your edge. What's
Yes.
your edge? Is your edge to go like inward and do radical self-presence for yourself and hear what your needs are and give them to yourself? Or is it like extroverted? Like right now, my edge is to actually talk about COVID and say what I'm saying right now, because,
Yes.
and I haven't even fully said everything, but like it's there and it's brewing, and like it's all coming to the surface. And so, yeah, I guess my edge right now is like doing an extroverted action where it's like energetically I need to go outward and say no, I don't think it's okay that a lot of my loved ones have, and people I know are losing their jobs that they're really good at, because they want to have autonomy over their body because of something that doesn't need to be, whatever your opinion is. See, this is where I'm like, am I stepping on someone's toes? But like, I
Yeah.
don't think it should be mandated. I think that there's a lot of information. I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole with everyone, but it's very violating and violent to force someone to put something in their body that could potentially corrupt their own immunity, corrupt their own health, corrupt their own value system, corrupt their own spiritual beliefs. The list goes on, and I feel, that that's kind of scary for me to say out loud publicly. Like I usually gauge this kind of thing one-on-one in conversation. I've only said it to a very small handful of people. But I really do believe we should be able to choose. So there, I've said it.
Woo! Free will? A human with free will? What the heck? Tina, you talking smack. Crazy. I mean, come on, y'all. It's like it's a bit ridiculous. It's a bit ridiculous to be I believe in placed in any situation where there is manipulation of the free will. And I think we are moving into a world right now. We are seeing a world where there is so much manipulation on the use of the free will that it's disheartening, it's disgusting, it's disturbing. However, I think it's temporary, and it will get worse before it gets better. And I think we're seeing it get worse. It is going to continue to get worse because it has to be so in people's face, so obvious that we understand that we need to take our free will seriously, and use these
Noggin.
noggins we got, and these too. you know, leading, understanding the intelligence that's available here in discerning if something is true or not, and discerning if something is, you know, creating greater feelings of love and connection and unity and peace and harmony and health, or if it's creating these feelings of fear and scarcity and like feeling like violated, you know, frankly feeling violated, feeling manipulated, feeling like somebody's playing a game. You know, the way I'm seeing things play out right now, it's like, wow, like huge group of people like being played, you know, and it makes me really sad because if anyone's being played, like I'm being played. Because from my standpoint, you know, we are all one. We are all connected. We are all one organism, you know? And that also makes me take my self-care really seriously too, because I understand that I'm just a cell of a organism, you know, and I want my cell to be as happy and healthy and vibrant, and like my mitochondria going and everything functioning really well, so that this whole human body, this human organism, this mother earth organism that I'm a part of, can function that tiny little bit that much better. So yeah, I'm I'm taking this very seriously too, and I think the astrology I've been following and learning a lot about this year, because my intuition popped on really really loudly last year with that Jupiter Saturn conjunction, and the energy very much so right now is what Tina is saying, where we're being like forced to choose, and you're seeing this play out in the across the world stage. And it depends on what types of media, where you get your information, whether or not you'll become aware of that. But people are being forced to choose, you know, which direction are you going to go. And ultimately what it boils down to is, you know, this is what I was explaining in one of my Reiki lives. The spiritual war I'm seeing is choosing, in its simplest, fear or love. It's choosing external authority or internal authority. It's choosing, and this external authority has its intentions and motivations coming from this place of love of power only for a few. Whereas this love orientation has this orientation of power of love, power of love for the highest good of all.
Empowerment.
Empowered.
Yeah,
in
for
in
all.
inside it's
Into.
like empowered, like in, and it's empowered externally too. And I've seen this too. I do so much Reiki, y'all. It's like every day, hours, I'm spending time doing energy healing and energy work and helping other people with the energetic level of everything that's happening. And I have seen visions of things that really make the urgent self-care. And I've been talking to other intuitives, other energy workers, body workers, healers, dancers, movers and shakers of energy in various other traditions, who are reporting similar things, where they are seeing certain energies, certain things that really lend the importance and the crucialness of taking your free will very seriously, taking what you are consuming in your mind through your senses, very, very careful use of discernment, and understanding that your choices right now affect you. Yeah, they affect your family, your dogs, your animals. They affect your neighbors. They affect your entire neighborhood, your entire community, your entire city, and out and out and out from that. Your choices matter,
Which is
all
why
of
it,
them.
which is why it's so important how we speak to each other and how we communicate. And it can feel sometimes like people aren't listening, or maybe you're scared to speak. but you know, calling in your higher self, your intuition, your spiritual connection, ask and pray for guidance in the moment. You will receive how to share what you need to share in a way that can open hearts and can open minds and can open your connection. And it's real, it's true. I've experienced it. And I've, you know, I've talked to some people I thought would never shift and have, you know, open to connection, open to like loving conversation, and just, you know, opening their mind to new information that, and it takes patience and love. It takes that self-care of tuning in to know how to connect outwardly with, you know, with this one circle group, we always had the question, where are you sourcing from? Where am I sourcing my words from? Where am I sourcing my guidance from? And really make sure it's in alignment with your higher power and your higher self and your love, and you know, whatever is really serving. So, and you'll know by the outcome.
Yes.
So
Yes.
if you said something and it rocks the boat in a way that actually doesn't really serve for the long term, you'll know, oh, maybe that's not the voice to listen to. That wasn't the one, you know, like really like you see it as an experiment too. We're all learning to really explore communication right now, and sometimes that is silence, and sometimes it is having the conversation, you know, the hard one, and not being afraid to like really trust ourselves. And you know, it's easy to say all this, but just like it's just a reminder for all of us to tune in and practice this. Not saying that I'm better and I know this, like, oh, you know, I've flopped so many times talking. So it's like I just really want to encourage all of us to like really tap into that space, follow the questions that empower you and other people, and be vulnerable. It takes vulnerability to share what you really think about. Like, not just the talking points that maybe people who have a big social media platform or news say, but your talking points. What are your vulnerable personal talking points, and how can you really share that in a way that is authentic and connective, and respectful, and caring caring for yourself and caring for the other person. And yeah.
I love what you said about saying a prayer before. Like, I've been reminded in my self-care journey, there was a point where I rejected like religion and spirituality and everything, and like just on my journey of like coming back to my spiritual connection for a long time, I was a meditator only. Meditator, not a prayer. Started saying some prayers in like 12-step groups. Okay, yeah, I liked, but not really. I was a meditator. I was very strongly like identified with like, I meditate, I practice meditation, like that's my thing. That's my spiritual practice, you know. I like chanting too. And I didn't really get that that's actually like a prayer. But and like every time I had said like Om and that kind of thing, like these are kinds of prayers. So funny. But I didn't think I was praying. And really starting to embrace prayer has been a game changer for me. And I don't mean, like Tina's saying, like make up your own little prayer asking, how do I communicate in this moment? You know, what would be the most loving, what in your words? Understanding that prayers can be like in your words. They don't have to be in Sanskrit, or they don't have to come from a certain religion. Like, they can be plain English, whatever your first language is, in your words and terms, in on an ongoing basis, like as needed for day-to-day tasks, you know.
Yeah.
This it's been so phenomenally comforting and transformative. And what I've witnessed too, as I've embraced prayer more and more and experimented with different forms of prayer and using prayers at different times, using my own, using someone else's, is that they work. They work. And like, I altered recently a prayer I was using in my Reiki invocations and in my client sessions, and I've had feedback saying like there's a different result now, and I can feel it on my end as well. But like have a little faith, say a little prayer. You've got nothing to lose. That's such like an I don't know, a lot of people on a meditation path, I know maybe resonate with my experience of kind of like, oh, it's like underrated, not for me. Well, it's not for you until you learn how to do it your way. And there is a way, it can feel good and authentic for you.
And you
I
tune
bet.
into your authentic concept of and construct of what your experience is of something greater than you. That's a big,
Yes.
because it could, some people could call it the void or nature, or some people call it God or Allah or source or universe, and it's what's authentic to you in the now moment, in your own personal evolution. And yeah, our friend is saying prayers, meditation. It's true. I wanted to share a story about that really fast. Like,
Yeah.
um, when I learned a formula for meditation, I learned it through Vipassana, and one of the key uh, qualities to cultivate is equanimity, and which means, like, for me, I would define that as accepting without judgment, non-attachment. But in actually practicing it and like accepting different points of sensation throughout the body with a equanimous span of attention, I realized, like, when I was fasting one time after the retreat, when I was meditating a lot on my own, like, equanimity is acceptance, is gratitude, is the prayer. Like, so do you get it? It's like, it's equanimity is
Yeah,
accepting,
it
and
is a prayer.
accepting is gratitude. Gratitude is
Yeah.
accepting, and
Yeah.
gratitude is a form of prayer. And it was just like
Yeah.
streaming those concepts together, and I really, like, it dawned on me in a new way, like, whoa, this is, like, at that time I hadn't had like a traditional form of praying yet, so like for me that was like a wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I understand what you can also mean if it's like meditation is like you're not supposed attached to words, or like, there's
Yeah.
multiple ways of saying it's not traditional prayer, but
Well, that it's different, that your prayer, you're asking, or you're like talking, you're sending something out, and meditation is more like receiving and like empty and open, receiving the answers to your prayers, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's interesting to hear your story too and understand like we are always praying, but we can like consciously pray,
yeah, yeah, totally, totally. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I also wanted to circle back. There was something you said. Oh, play with your edge.
Mm,
Play with your edge. You mentioned that
yeah.
and how that's relating to self-care too, to like be brave during this time and be courageous during this time. If there's something you need that would be an edge for you, but you like, you know, I trust that it's for my highest good, or I can at least see. Um, I would encourage people to be playing with their edges right now and tiptoeing out of the comfort zone a bit right now. And if there's a certain intuition about something different to try, this is a good time to go ahead and do that. Could possibly be like a really, really powerful thing to work with, And worst case is something you never do again. You never try again. You back right back away from the edge, right? But I think there's a lot of richness and a lot of empowerment and like feeling really good about yourself. When I know when I play an edge, often those are the experiences that are like my favorite experiences. I find those will be like the highlights of my week. It's like, oh, I played that edge there, and that was like the most fun I had all week, you know, or that was the most enriching experience, or like that fed a part of my soul that I didn't know was hungry. You know, I thought I was feeding it, but no. So yeah, play with your edges, people. That was a
Play with,
very, very wise word, Tina. Thank you for dropping that one in.
yeah, playing with your edge, with that, again, with that higher self, driving the wheel, like guiding it. Because if you know, like, oh, I'm sharing vulnerably, but it's actually not, maybe I'm around people who are going to attack me and it's actually not a safe space to share. It's like, that's why you were quiet in the first place. So
Yes.
like really tuning into right time and what your intuitive sense is about, is this the right time or not, like what do I really know, like is this the right time to share, or whatever your edge is. So someone asked, we have a couple of comments here.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, reading from this book, Philosophy of the Masters, about prayer. I wish I could upload pictures of the pages here. I'd love you, hi, by the way. I would love you to put that in the comments after, like maybe the name of the book and like what page to look on, or what the picture is, so we can like look it up afterward. That would be really cool. And then someone asked about what do you mean about the edge? So the edge is just something like that maybe it's on the verge of being uncomfortable. So like your comfort. So I'm comfortable, like I used to not be comfortable on social media at all, and then I started posting very sporadically when I first started, just to kind of get used to it because it was uncomfortable for me. And just really like, you know, like you've never swam before, you would dip your toes in the pool to feel the temperature, or like doing something to go slightly uncomfortable, but it's good, it's beneficial because it's a challenge that's safe, and it helps you evolve and grow. I think that's what my definition of edge would be. Do you want to chime in about that?
I think there being a genuine curiosity. I think it comes back to that curiosity you were talking about earlier too. Like there's a genuine like sense of like maybe something the inner child is wanting to explore too. You know, something that it's like that would actually be, you know, a lot of fun. That's
Yeah.
how it's been coming up for me a bit lately, is the inner child wanting some love and some appreciation in play. You know, there's like it can be like a serious thing, like Tina's talking about, like when to speak up and everything, but it can also, I think, come in this kind of like playful edge as well. You know, it can come in like any area of life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're like usually like doing there's one thing and another thing, like the teeter totter, and you're like, what's that cusp between going one way or the other? And like, usually you're in your comfort zone, and it's like, what can I do? You know, it could be playful.
Yeah.
It could even be a thing you're deathly afraid to do. It could
Yeah.
be like the thing you also feel jealous about for other people, because
Yeah.
actually that's the thing you want to be doing. You know, so there's fear playing there, and holding you back. So it could be multiple things, but it's just like, what's that next thing to open you to your truth, your authenticity, I think.
Yeah, jealousy can be a good indicator too. Like I said, curiosity, jealousy, because jealousy is like, a person once told me, like, allow the jealousy to be inspiration to try that thing that you're seeing the other person has or is really good at. You know, instead of just like, you know, festering, let it fester as jealousy, you know, allow it to be this inspiration and maybe give it a shot. You know, some form of it, some degree of it, a shot yourself. You know, be
I like
inspired.
that.
Yeah, I liked that too. It was a bit annoying when he said it, but I like it now. I've repeated it many times.
Yeah, if you have jealousy, take away the fear and it becomes inspiration.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or the limiting belief or whatever.
Mm.
So, is there anything other than what we've talked about that you want to explore? Do you feel like, do you have any kind of more topics you wanted to share about self-care? Or does anybody have any themes or questions they want to talk about?
Yeah. Yo,
Just
questions,
let us know.
comments.
Yeah.
That would be great. I've seen, yeah, Northern Dasher says, I think self-care is loving myself without judgment. That's really
Mm,
beautiful.
I like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
judgment. Judgment definitely contracts and stops us from going into our love and expression and really living, I think, for real, like how we really want to
Mm-hmm.
live.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that. It's a good point.
Yeah.
So if you have any other themes you want to talk about with self-care, pop it below in the comments. But I'm feeling a bit complete unless like you're there's something that you really wanted to express about this that you felt was important or anything like to close with, Taylor. Tay
I
Tay.
think, yeah.
I'm like, oh, I called her Taylor, but it's Tay Tay.
It's actually Tay Tay. No, it's Taylor also. Um, I think just, really taking actions to facilitate that spiritual connection and like empowering the spiritual connection to be in the driver's seat of the car. Like if there's one thing to do from this conversation, I think it's finding, your unique way of uh, making that happen. And as a result, not only are you caring for yourself, that's such a beautiful offering to everything else that exists. And yeah, like that big.
Yeah.
It's an offering of love, big one, having big consequences and big ripples of beautiful healing, awakening, loving energy. Yeah.
I like your takeaway.
What about you?
I'm like, what is my takeaway? I feel like that was a big element that I was surprised by.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, even though we both were like talking about it, I feel like that's a big takeaway. And then, oh, I wanted to add one thing that sometimes it takes looking at the shadow. Like I know we say we don't want to feed, oh, I don't want to feed the idea of the spiritual warfare or the COVID stuff or whatever. But sometimes we just need to talk about it and we need to look at it in order to see where we do want to go. Um, pain can be an informer, and I really feel like it's something that uh, can get bypassed or
Yes.
you know shamed or judged or like we were talking about criticized or
Yeah.
fear contracted
Yeah.
again. So yeah, just taking that opportunity to use it. I like the word, I don't know, the word explore is a big thing for me right now, so that's kind of one of my big takeaways is just
Mm-hmm.
exploring yourself, exploring what is happening in the world and really feeling in what's true and in alignment like with what you said with the higher self and the spiritual
Yeah.
guidance. And I feel like that's a big takeaway. And I do feel there's an urgency now. There is a because if we don't take care of our true self,
Mm-hmm.
our mind, heart, spirit, and soul, things are going to happen. Things are happening. Things are
Yes.
happening right now and unraveling that are creating major imbalances, major dichotomies, major separation, um, hardships, and suffering. And I feel like you know, at first we kind of said it as a joke, like, oh, urgent care, like we're talking about self-care, but actually it's quite urgent, and
Yeah.
meaning it's important and it's
Yeah.
very valid and it's very
Yeah.
relevant to right now.
Yeah.
And to also be compassionate within that urgency toward yourself, and just doing our best where we're at, I feel like is all we can do. And yeah, I feel like it's a time to remind ourselves to do that, to act and not be complacent, or not be like, oh yeah, like not in the mind, but in the doing, and to take a stance for what you do believe. And we do that every day. We make
Yes.
votes and we pray for whatever, unconsciously praying for whatever we want to create in reality. So if we see some kind of thing outside of us amplified in our material realm, that's just a calling, a call to look at ourselves, to look at our relationships, all our relationships, within ourselves and without ourselves, and to really course correct. We need to course correct, like as humanity, and we only can do that one by one.
Yes.
So
I can't
and
hear
oh,
you.
sorry,
Oh, can
can you hear me now?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just feel like this is a continual conversation, and I kind of look forward to exploring more with you and everyone. Um, I think that's what I have to say about that.
I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I do. I resonate. Because, yeah, there can be this, oh, it's like low vibe, like don't go there. But sometimes you do need to, you know, and be monitoring your energy, exploring that shadow. If you're getting too sucked in, like get out, get your head above water. But yeah, being really, yeah, really holistic in your approach. I love, yeah. If you
That's a
want it,
good analogy, what you just said. Like, if you're drowning, you know, don't keep affirming, I have the purest oxygen in my body. Like, sometimes self-care can be like, no, you need to get rid of the thing that's toxic or not in alignment. Like,
yeah,
get out of the water, get your head above the water, then do like I'm so full of oxygen. Sometimes you do have to say no to things, and you do have to
yes,
take a position. And now's the time to take a position, I think.
yeah, yeah.
Share it, and share it in a loving way. So
Mm-hmm. TBC, like it's
yeah.
so huge. It's so huge and ongoing, and yeah, yeah, to be continued for sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, if you all want to keep in touch with us, obviously this today's interview is going through my channel at Tina Sue, CSEUZ. And you can also find Tay Tay at
Joyful Raw Life on Instagram. I will put this on my YouTube channel as well, Taylor A. Norris. So it will be there, two places, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we love you. Thank you so much. Mahalo. Thank you.
Mahalo.
So
Thank
grateful for tea
you.
time. Grateful for everyone who came today. Grateful for you,
Same.
Taylor. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, keep in touch. Let us know what you think, how this has affected you, how you're going to implement it in your life, and what, you know, if how this information has affected your experience. And if you ever have future ideas for themes for tea time, let us know also. We're always welcome to connecting with you. We're just here to create a dialogue and an exploration around things that we feel are relevant to a holistic raw vegan lifestyle, and what's true for us too as well. And also to create connection with you also. Stay in touch,
Yeah.
and we love you.
Love you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Cheers,
Powerful
everyone.
beings. Cheers. Beautiful tea ceremony together.
Thank It's the live. Bye.
Bye.